most expensive ever sold of one of the rarest production BMWs in the world, 5.6 litre V12, and it's got a matching telephone. I should mention as well the interior, which we will detail too on this car, is sensational. The spec perfectly matches the exterior. It's even, as I hinted at, it's even got a matching telephone. So wait until the end of the video. We're going to go all the way around this car, including that epic interior. So before I show you around this car, I know you're all waiting to see every little detail on this masterpiece behind me, especially after all the work we've just done on it. I want to talk to you about something else. So you might have noticed throughout the video, as we prepared the car, as we've treated the interior and so on, we've been using these products. These are products from the Topaz shop. We've got things like the snow foam. I just grabbed this one quickly from our stock because it's actually quite a similar colour to the car. And our advanced pre-wash, another important thing to use in the wash stage. And then with that leather interior, I couldn't go without mentioning our leather cleaner. So these products are the products we use here at all of our Topaz studios, including our HQ here in London. And these are how you can make your car look pretty much this good at home in the comfort of your driveway and garage. And as a thank you for watching this video, I want to give you 10% off. So make sure to use the code YouTube10 to save 10% off your next order at the Topaz store, which is linked up here. So quick rundown on what the legendary 850 CSi is. I mentioned at the start of the video, it's one of the rarest production BMWs ever made. Around about only 1,500 of these cars were ever produced in the 1990s, so you hardly ever see them. And the engine I mentioned at the start is made by BMW Motorsport, so this is truly a rare beast. 380 horsepower from that 5.6 litre naturally aspirated V12 paired to a 6-speed manual gearbox, which in the 90s it was incredibly rare to have a 6-speed manual, which allowed it to go from 0 to 60 in around about 5.6 seconds and a limited top speed of 155 miles an hour. The other thing to mention is that V12 engine actually formed the basis for the V12 engine in the later legendary McLaren F1. Enough about the 850 CSi as a model. You've all come to see this specific one because it is a very special one. I mentioned it was the most expensive ever sold. This is a 1993, and back in 1993, this car cost £96,000. And to put that into perspective, the average price of a flat in Mayfair at the same time was the same as that, and the average price of a flat in Mayfair now is £1 million. So this was a serious piece of kit to spend nearly £100,000 on back in the early 1990s. And who would order such a car? As I mentioned, they're particularly rare, so not very many people ordered them. However, this exact one was ordered by a female professional golfer. In fact, she was the #1 golfer in the UK in the 80s and 90s. Her name was Laura Davies, and she loved cars, and she wanted to reward herself for her golfing success with a very special money, no object car. Literally, the price did not matter to her. She wanted to have the very best example of one of the coolest cars available. Hence why we ended up with the most expensive example of its kind, £30,000 worth of options. So what are those options? So this car was ordered through BMW's exclusive program, which was not something that was available to just anyone. In fact, still with this car, there are numerous letters which were exchanged between the BMW salesperson when this car was ordered new and BMW HQ in Munich. That's how high profile this car and this client was. So what did they spend all this money on? First of all, there's the beautiful BMW individual aqua metallic paint, which pops. In fact, this is the only E31 finished in this colour, making this car truly unique. But where it really gets special is on the interior. So, again, important history with this car. They've still got documented where Laura Davies, the golfer, went to the showroom, took a diagram of the interior and wrote by hand on every single piece of leather exactly what she wanted where. Those are the details that were gone to with this car. It's not just, oh, do it with blue and cream. Every single little piece was hand selected as exactly how it would be. So what that's left us with is this 3-stage leather interior, which I'm told is incredibly rare on the E31 BMW. And we've got ice blue leather, magnolia inserts and a magnolia Alcantara headlining. Doesn't stop there. Obviously details like the handbrake, also in the leather, the gear knob, and then this phone. And if you owned one of these cars, you were someone that had to be possible to be in touch with the outside world at all times. You're a business person, you're a CEO, or apparently a pro golfer. So they even colour-coded with the blue leather, the phone, the corded phone, which is so 90s, to match. All in all, again, sorry, I missed out a very important point, the blue carpets with leather piping as well, just an unreal touch. So all in all of these interior options were over £12,500 plus VAT in the 1990s. Just bananas. You can see how this car ended up being the most expensive of its kind. Other options which racked up the cost on the spec of this car, and by the way, the owner of this car now still has the original order sheet, the original spec, the original invoice for this car when it was brand new, which is a really nice touch. And of course, a special car like this, it's only right that it's been kept with the car. So other things that ranked up the price. I can't believe this. This car, 1993, has rear wheel steering. It's also got the options you might expect, like heated memory seats, rear blind, first aid kit, the telephone that I mentioned, climate control, and even, you know, the engineering on a car like this, even they've got heating controls for the vents in the doors. Another car from the 90s, I'm sure there will be another car from the 90s that does this, but I can't think of one. The engineering, German engineering that's gone into this incredible sports tourer that's manual V12 rear wheel drive, just on another level. I absolutely love it. So this engine absolutely purrs, as you can imagine, from a 5.6 litre natural aspirated V12, which later became the McLaren F1 engine. So we'll put in a little clip now of firing it up, just so you can hear exactly how it sounds. But other things to point out around the back. BMW Motorsport rear spoiler, not all of them had this, very nice touch. And of course it lights up in the brake light with BMW Motorsport. Then to look inside the boot, the attention to detail did not stop around the front. We've got blue carpet inside the boot. We've got the 6 CD changer, and then a nice feature on all higher value BMWs was the toolkit in the boot. And you can tell when a car's been properly looked after when the toolkit 30 years later is still complete with all the tools. Very, very nice touch indeed. Speaking of mechanicals, if we go round to the front, I can show you that all-important engine that I've been talking about. An unusual detail on the E31, there's not a normal latch to flick to open the bonnet. Instead, you press these 2 tabs in and the bonnet opens, revealing the powerhouse that is the 5.6 litre natural aspirated V12 with that all-important M badge, because this, I believe, is the only M engine in a non-M car. So this isn't an M8. M8 doesn't really exist. There was one prototype. Only M engine in a non-M car in BMW's history. So super special thing. In fact, there's a rumour that this was supposed to be the M8, but for whatever reason, BMW didn't go ahead with it. Those all-important pop-up headlights, which I've not shown you enough of yet, so we'll overlay some B-roll of them popping up now. Super cool 90s detail. Such a shame that cars now can't have those. But I think I've shown you enough about this car. Obviously, you've seen the process of our level 2 detail. The car came in dirty, a little bit swirly. It's the winter. We've refreshed this car and it's looking absolutely stunning now. So thank you to the owner, M635 BMW, for sending us one of his many stunning cars. So make sure to check him out, give him a follow on Instagram. And I hope you enjoyed this video on something a little bit different, not the usual latest and greatest supercars and hypercars that we normally get in here for PPF. Instead, getting hands-on paint correction, level 2 detail with a true 90s BMW classic.
you.